Hi, I'm Alison Roman, and I'm gonna be making one of my favorite pasta dishes from my cookbook, Dining In. My approach with pasta generally is that less is more, and I don't think you need 100 ingredients to make a really delicious bowl of pasta, which is why this one features mostly just mushrooms. The first thing we need to do is get our water on to boil. It's really nice to use a faucet like this Delta faucet because you don't have to reach for a handle, and if you've been cooking and there's stuff on your hands, which there almost always is on mine, you don't have to get anything messy or dirty. This is a lot of water, so I'm gonna need a lot of salt. I'm gonna cook my pasta in my very well salted water. And I'm using rigatoni, but you can use any shape you want. So now I'm gonna toast my buckwheat. What's buckwheat, you may be asking yourself? It is a grain, and they go from being this almost yellow, pale green color to this really beautiful red, toasty color. And it smells amazing. It smells like popcorn. So using a bunch of different mushrooms isn't just to be fancy. It's because it really does offer a lot in variance of texture and shape and color and flavor, and it's gonna make the whole dish that much more beautiful and also delicious. The nice part about using mushrooms like these oyster mushrooms is that I literally won't even use my knife. I'm just gonna kind of tear them into pieces. And if you were to use one type of mushroom, this dish would still be really good, and they could be a regular old button mushroom. I've done it a bunch of times. It's still really delicious. So pile of mushrooms is great all on its own. You would really only need to cook them in some olive oil with some salt to make them really spectacular. But because we want to make things just a little bit more delicious, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and shallots, which make everything better always. So I'm melting the butter first so I can brown it, which will develop a lot of flavor. But to prevent it from burning, I'm going to then add some olive oil to kind of make sure that it doesn't get too browned. So I'm going to garlic. And then the mushrooms. And you don't have to worry about sauteing the garlic first necessarily because they're all gonna kind of cook and soften at the same time. Season them, salt and pepper. So for this particular pasta dish, I'm not using any pasta water. And that's pretty unusual, especially for me if I'm making pasta. But the thing is I spent all that time getting the water out of the mushroom to get them crispy and concentrated that I don't wanna add any water back to the dish. Into the skillet goes the pasta and then that shallot that I chopped. You can plate this on a bowl or a plate. I like to just kind of crumble Parmesan with my hands so I get some larger chunks and some smaller bits. And then those buckwheat groats that we used. So to create this kind of sauciness, we're gonna use a raw egg yolk. And not only it looks really nice, obviously, but I really do think it's the best and easiest pasta sauce. And so that's it, that's our pasta dish. It was 5 or 6 ingredients, and it's one of those things where you don't need an extra flourish. You don't need to add an herb just for color because kind of working in that really simple color palette is all you need. So whether you're deciding to impress people on a Saturday night or like me, you're just putting this into your regular Tuesday rotation, it's always appropriate and it can always be this casual.